There was a time in my life when I believed that happiness could be found in things, the right job, the right people, the right recognition. I chased it endlessly, thinking that if I checked off every box that society handed me, I would finally feel complete. But here's the truth. We are taught to consume happiness, not create it. We eat a lie, a well-wrapped illusion that tells us once you have this, once you become that, once you reach there, you will be happy. But have you ever noticed how the goalpost keeps moving? How one achievement leads to another expectation? How the happiness we find in things fades like the last bite of a sweet treat. Momentarily satisfying, but never lasting. We live in a world that convinces us to settle for the comfort of falsehood. We tell ourselves, I am okay, when deep inside we are not. We say, if only I had more, I would be happy, when we already have enough. We smile for the world while our hearts carry unspoken burdens. But here's what I have learned. True happiness does not come from external validation. It does not come from the things we own or the applause we receive. It comes from within, from living a life of purpose, gratitude, and truth. It is not in what we consume, but in what we create. Our kindness, our courage, our ability to rise after every fall. The journey to real happiness is not easy. It demands that we unlearn the lies we have been fed. It requires us to face our fears, embrace our struggles, and build a foundation of self-worth that no temporary pleasure can shake. Happiness is one of the most sought-after emotions in human existence. We all want to be happy, to feel fulfilled, and to experience joy in our lives. But more often than not, the happiness we chase is nothing more than an illusion, a fleeting moment of pleasure that disappears as quickly as it arrives. We attach our happiness to external things, believing that if we just have a little more money, a better job, a bigger house, or the perfect relationship, we will finally feel complete. Yet, time and time again, we achieve these milestones only to realize that the joy they bring is temporary, and soon we find ourselves searching for the next thing to fill the void. From an early age, we are conditioned to believe that happiness lies in achievement and accumulation. Society tells us that success equals happiness, and so we push ourselves relentlessly to reach higher, to do more, to be more, and less, to do more, to be more, to be more, to do more, to be more. We set goals, and when we accomplish them, we feel a rush of excitement. But that feeling is short-lived. The moment we reach one milestone, another one appears on the horizon. Instead of feeling content, we find ourselves trapped in an endless cycle of wanting more. It becomes a race with no finish line, a pursuit that never truly satisfies. Social media has intensified this illusion. Every day we scroll through carefully curated images of seemingly perfect lives. Exotic vacations, expensive cars, flawless relationships. We compare our reality to these highlights, believing that we are missing out. We convince ourselves that if we could just have what they have, we would be happy too. But what we fail to realize is that these images are not a true reflection of reality. They are moments captured and filtered, not the full story. Behind the smiles and luxury lies the same human struggles: loneliness, insecurity, and dissatisfaction. Yet we continue to chase the fantasy, thinking that happiness is something we can buy or achieve rather than something we can cultivate from within. Temporary pleasures often disguise themselves as happiness. A new purchase, a delicious meal, a night out with friends. All these experiences bring momentary joy, but they do not provide lasting fulfillment. The excitement fades, and we are left searching for the next high. This is why so many people develop unhealthy attachments to material possessions, food, entertainment, or even relationships. We use these things as distractions, ways to escape the discomfort of our own thoughts and emotions. But no matter how much we consume, it is never enough. The happiness we seek through external means always comes with an expiration date. The illusion of happiness is also deeply tied to validation from others. We seek approval and recognition, believing that if people admire us, we will finally feel worthy. We shape our lives around what others expect of us, working tirelessly to gain praise and acceptance. But the problem with basing our happiness on external validation is that it is never truly in our control. People's opinions change. Approval is fleeting. The very people who applaud us today might criticize us tomorrow. When our self-worth is dependent on the opinions of others, we become prisoners to their expectations. True happiness can never be found in something so fragile and unpredictable. Another common trap in the pursuit of happiness is the belief that one day, everything will fall into place. We tell ourselves that once we get the perfect job, find the right partner, or achieve a certain status, we will finally be happy. This mindset keeps us in a state of constant waiting, postponing joy for a future that may never come. It blinds us to the beauty of the present moment, making us believe that our lives are incomplete until we reach some distant ideal. But the truth is, happiness is not something that waits for us at the finish line. It is something we must choose in the present. The more we delay our happiness, the more we risk never truly experiencing it at all. One of the biggest misconceptions about happiness is that it means a life without struggle. We equate happiness with ease, believing that challenges, pain, and difficulties are obstacles to our joy. But in reality, some of the most fulfilling moments in life come from overcoming hardships. Growth, resilience, and personal transformation do not happen in comfort. They happen in struggle. Yet, we resist this truth, seeking shortcuts to happiness and avoiding anything that feels difficult. We look for instant gratification instead of long-term fulfillment, only to find that the happiness we gain from avoidance is shallow and short-lived. We also make the mistake of thinking that happiness is a destination, a place we will eventually reach if we just work hard enough. But happiness is not a final state, it is a journey, a practice, a way of being. It is not found in a perfect life, but in embracing life as it is, with all its imperfections and uncertainties. The illusion of happiness keeps us chasing an ideal that does not exist, making us blind to the joy that is already present in our lives. Breaking free from this illusion requires a shift in perspective. It requires us to stop looking outside ourselves for happiness and start cultivating it within. True happiness does not come from what we have, but from who we are. It is found in gratitude, in meaningful connections, in acts of kindness, and in the simple moments we often overlook. It is not about escaping pain, but about finding meaning in it. It is not about having more, but about appreciating what we already have. The moment we stop chasing happiness in all the wrong places is the moment we begin to truly experience it. We all have dreams and desires, and we tell ourselves stories about what will bring us happiness and fulfillment. From a young age, we are conditioned to believe that success, recognition, and a perfect life are the keys to lasting joy. We grow up hearing that if we work hard, achieve great things, and gain the approval of others, we will finally feel complete. These ideas become deeply ingrained in our minds, shaping the way we live, the choices we make, and the standards by which we measure our worth. But the harsh truth is that these are nothing more than beautifully packaged lies. Lies that we tell ourselves because we desperately want them to be true. One of the biggest lies we believe is that material success will bring us happiness. Society glorifies wealth, status, and luxury, making us think that the more we have, the happier we will be. We chase after high-paying jobs, expensive cars, designer clothes, and lavish lifestyles, believing that these things will fill the emptiness inside us. But time and time again, we see people who have everything they could possibly want, yet still feel unfulfilled. We hear stories of millionaires battling depression, celebrities struggling with loneliness, and successful professionals who feel lost despite reaching the pinnacle of their careers. If material success truly brought happiness, then why do so many people who have it still feel incomplete? The truth is that money and possessions can provide comfort and convenience, but they cannot fill the deeper emotional and spiritual void within us. The joy we get from material things is temporary. A new car feels exciting for a while, but soon it becomes just another object in our lives. A luxurious vacation offers moments of pleasure, but once it's over, we are left craving another escape. No matter how much we acquire, it is never enough, because material things cannot provide the sense of purpose and meaning that we truly seek. Yet, we continue to chase more, convinced that the next purchase, the next promotion, or the next financial milestone will finally bring us the happiness that has always been just out of reach. Another lie we tell ourselves is that social approval is the key to fulfillment. We seek validation from others, believing that if people admire and accept us, we will feel worthy and loved. We shape our lives around external expectations, carefully curating our image to fit societal standards. We post the best moments of our lives on social media, hoping for likes and comments that reassure us we are doing well. We compare ourselves to others, measuring our success by how we appear rather than how we actually feel inside. The desire to be liked, respected, and appreciated is natural, but when our sense of self-worth becomes dependent on the opinions of others, we become trapped in a never-ending cycle of seeking approval. No matter how much praise we receive, it is never truly satisfying because external validation is fleeting. The people who admire us today may forget us tomorrow. Trends change, opinions shift, and the attention we once enjoyed can easily disappear. When our happiness is built on the fragile foundation of social approval, we live in constant fear of rejection and criticism. We become afraid to show our true selves, worrying that we might not be accepted. We sacrifice our authenticity to fit in, losing sight of who we really are in the process. Instead of finding fulfillment, we end up feeling disconnected from ourselves, living for the expectations of others rather than our own inner truth. Perhaps one of the most damaging lies we believe is that a perfect life will bring us peace. We have an idealized vision of what life should be. Flawless relationships, a successful career, financial security, and a picture-perfect family. We tell ourselves that once everything falls into place, we will finally feel content. But perfection is an illusion. Life is unpredictable, messy, and full of unexpected challenges. No matter how hard we try to control every aspect of our lives, there will always be struggles, setbacks, and imperfections. Yet we resist this reality, thinking that if we just try harder, if we just fix one more thing, if we just reach one more goal, we will finally attain the happiness we long for. This endless pursuit of perfection leads to frustration and disappointment. When things don't go as planned, we feel like failures. When relationships don't meet our expectations, we question our worth. When life throws obstacles in our path, we see them as signs that we are not good enough. We spend so much time striving for an unattainable ideal that we forget to appreciate the beauty of what is real. Instead of embracing life as it is, we live in frustration over what it is not. The lies we tell ourselves keep us trapped in an illusion. They make us believe that happiness and fulfillment exist outside of us, always just beyond our reach. They push us to chase things that will never truly satisfy us, keeping us in a cycle of wanting more, doing more, and never feeling like we are enough. But no matter how much success we achieve, how much approval we gain, or how close we get to the perfect life we imagined, true fulfillment will always remain elusive if we continue to look for it in the wrong places. We spend much of our lives chasing promises that the world has made to us, promises of happiness, success, and fulfillment. We are told that if we acquire enough, achieve enough, and become enough, we will finally feel whole. We are led to believe that happiness can be found in things, in status, in recognition, and in the approval of others. But time and time again, we find ourselves disappointed, wondering why the joy we seek is always temporary, why no achievement, no possession, no external validation ever truly satisfies us. It is because we are chasing false promises, illusions that distract us from what really matters. The path to true happiness does not lie in what we consume. It lies in what we create, what we give, and what we nurture within ourselves. Creation is one of the most powerful sources of fulfillment. When we create something meaningful, a piece of art, a heartfelt message, a new idea, a moment of beauty, we tap into a deep and lasting joy. Unlike material possessions that fade in excitement over time, the things we create carry a part of us within them. A book written, a song composed, a business started, a garden planted. Each of these is a reflection of our inner world brought to life. Creation is not limited to artistic or professional work. It is present in every aspect of life. The relationships we build, the wisdom we share, the experiences we shape, all of these are acts of creation. When we pour our energy into creating rather than consuming, we shift from a mindset of emptiness to one of abundance. We no longer seek happiness outside of ourselves, because we realize that we have the power to generate it from within. Giving is another key to breaking free from false promises. We live in a world that often tells us to take more, to accumulate more, to keep more for ourselves. But real joy is not found in hoarding, it is found in sharing. When we give, whether it is our time, our knowledge, our kindness, or our love, we experience a deeper and more lasting form of happiness than anything we could ever buy. The impact we have on others becomes a source of fulfillment that no material possession can match. A helping hand extended to someone in need, a moment spent listening to a friend, an act of kindness given without expectation. These are the moments that truly enrich our lives. In giving, we realize that happiness is not about having more for ourselves, but about making a difference in the lives of others. What we nurture within ourselves also plays a crucial role in finding true happiness. Too often we neglect our inner world, focusing all our attention on external achievements while ignoring our mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. We look for happiness in the outside world without realizing that it must first be cultivated within us. Self-awareness, gratitude, resilience, and self-love are all seeds that, when nurtured, grow into a life of true fulfillment. If we do not take the time to understand ourselves, to heal from our past, and to develop a sense of inner peace, no amount of external success will ever make us happy. The world may offer us endless distractions, but real joy comes from the quiet moments when we are at peace with who we are. The false promises we have been taught to believe in are seductive because they seem easier. It is easier to think that buying something will make us happy than to do the deep inner work required for true fulfillment. It is easier to seek validation from others than to build self-worth from within. It is easier to chase an illusion of happiness than to embrace the reality that it must be created through our actions and choices. But the path to true happiness is not found in what is easy. It is found in what is meaningful. It requires us to let go of the belief that something outside of us will complete us, and instead recognize that we already have everything we need to build a life of joy and purpose. When we stop consuming for the sake of temporary pleasure and start creating, when we stop seeking happiness in what we can take and start finding it in what we can give, when we stop searching for fulfillment in the outside world and start nurturing it within ourselves, we free ourselves from the cycle of false promises. We no longer need to chase something that is always out of reach because we understand that true happiness is not a destination. It is a way of living, one that is built on creation, generosity, and self-discovery. Seeking the truth is not an easy path. It demands courage, resilience, and the willingness to confront discomfort. Many people prefer to remain in the safety of what is familiar, even if it is unfulfilling, because stepping into the unknown feels overwhelming. The truth, however, is not always convenient or pleasant. It challenges our beliefs, forces us to face our fears, and often requires us to let go of things that no longer serve us. Growth and transformation are painful processes, but they are also the only way to find true meaning and fulfillment in life. It takes immense strength to break free from illusions, to question long-held assumptions, and to embrace the reality that lies beneath the surface. One of the biggest obstacles to seeking truth is the comfort of denial. It is easier to tell ourselves that everything is fine, that we are happy, that we are on the right path, even when deep down we feel something is missing. We avoid difficult conversations with ourselves because we fear what we might discover. We stay in jobs that drain us, relationships that no longer bring joy, and habits that keep us stagnant because change is uncomfortable. The mind convinces us that it is safer to endure what is familiar than to step into the uncertainty of something new. But comfort is not the same as happiness. Just because we are used to something does not mean it is good for us. Real growth begins the moment we acknowledge the truth, even when it hurts, even when it disrupts the carefully constructed life we have built. Letting go of temporary comforts is one of the hardest things we will ever do. Human nature craves security, stability, and predictability. We hold on to things that make us feel safe, even when they are limiting us. A toxic relationship, a job that no longer inspires us, a belief system that no longer aligns with who we are. These things may provide a sense of familiarity, but they also keep us from evolving. Walking away from something that once felt like home is terrifying. It feels like stepping off a cliff with no guarantee of where we will land. But holding on to something that no longer serves us is a greater risk than letting go. Growth requires loss. It requires us to leave behind old versions of ourselves to make space for something new. It is painful, but it is necessary. The pursuit of truth also means accepting that not everyone will understand or support our journey. People around us may resist our growth because it challenges their own beliefs. When we change, we force others to confront their own fears and insecurities. Some will encourage us, while others will try to hold us back. They may project their doubts onto us, warning us that we are making a mistake, that we are risking too much, that we should stay where we are. It takes courage to stand firm in our truth, to follow our path even when it leads us away from the expectations of others. Growth is a lonely road at times, but staying true to ourselves is more valuable than seeking approval from those who do not understand our journey. Facing the truth about ourselves is perhaps the hardest challenge of all. It requires radical honesty and self-awareness. It means admitting our flaws, recognizing our patterns, and taking responsibility for our own happiness. It is easier to blame circumstances, to point fingers, to convince ourselves that life is unfair. But true empowerment comes when we acknowledge that we have the power to change, to grow, and to create a new reality for ourselves. This is not a comfortable realization. It is painful to accept that we have been holding ourselves back, that we have settled for less than we deserve, that we have allowed fear to dictate our choices. But this pain is necessary. It is the fire that burns away illusions and makes space for something real. Growth is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong process. There will be moments of doubt, setbacks, and times when we question if we are on the right path. But every challenge we face, every painful lesson we learn, brings us closer to our truth. Strength is not found in avoiding discomfort, but in facing it head-on. The most transformative moments of our lives often come from the struggles we thought we could not survive. The pain of growth is temporary, but the reward of living in alignment with our truth is permanent. Seeking truth is not for the faint of heart. It requires us to tear down everything we once believed, to question the narratives we have been given, and to step into the unknown with nothing but faith in ourselves. It is painful, messy, and at times exhausting, but it is also the only way to truly live. To seek truth is to seek freedom, the freedom to be who we are, to live authentically, to create a life that is not based on illusions, but on deep, unshakable purpose. It is a journey that never truly ends, but every step taken is a step toward becoming the person we were always meant to be. Happiness is something we all seek, yet so many of us struggle to find it. The world offers endless distractions, tempting us with quick fixes that promise instant gratification. A new purchase, a night out, a social media notification. Each of these provides a fleeting moment of pleasure. But the problem with short-term pleasures is that they fade just as quickly as they arrive, leaving us chasing the next high, the next distraction, the next momentary escape. True happiness, however, is not found in temporary pleasures. It is something deeper, something lasting. Something built on a foundation of self-awareness, gratitude, and purpose. The journey to lasting joy requires patience, effort, and a willingness to look beyond what feels good in the moment to what truly fulfills us in the long run. Self-awareness is the first step toward choosing lasting joy. Too often, we follow paths that are not our own, pursuing careers, relationships, and lifestyles that do not align with who we truly are. We conform to expectations, believing that success or external validation will bring fulfillment. But without self-awareness, we may spend years chasing things that ultimately leave us empty. Taking the time to reflect on what brings genuine meaning into our lives allows us to separate real joy from superficial distractions. It means asking ourselves hard questions. What makes me feel alive? What drains my energy? What am I passionate about? When we develop self-awareness, we gain clarity about what truly matters, and we can begin to make choices that lead to lasting happiness rather than momentary satisfaction. Gratitude is another essential ingredient in the pursuit of lasting joy. In a world that constantly pushes us to want more, to do more, to be more, it is easy to focus on what we lack rather than what we have. We believe happiness will come when we reach the next milestone, acquire the next possession, or achieve the next goal. But the truth is that if we cannot appreciate what we have now, no amount of success or wealth will ever be enough. Gratitude shifts our focus from what is missing to what is present. It allows us to find joy in the simple moments. A conversation with a loved one, the warmth of the sun on our face, the small victories we achieve every day. When we cultivate gratitude, we stop searching for happiness in the future and start experiencing it in the present. We realize that joy is not something to be found, it is something to be noticed, something that already exists in our lives if we choose to see it. Purpose is what gives our happiness depth and meaning. While pleasure is temporary, purpose is enduring. It is the driving force that makes life feel fulfilling, the reason we wake up in the morning with a sense of excitement and direction. Without purpose, life can feel empty, no matter how much success or material wealth we accumulate. Purpose is not necessarily about grand achievements or world-changing missions. It can be as simple as making a difference in someone's life, pursuing a passion, or contributing to something greater than ourselves. When we align our actions with a deeper sense of meaning, we experience a type of happiness that goes beyond surface-level enjoyment. It is a happiness rooted in fulfillment, in knowing that our lives have value and impact. The challenge in choosing lasting joy over short-term pleasures is that it often requires us to go against what is easy or convenient. It is easy to choose distraction over self-reflection, to seek validation instead of inner peace, to chase temporary highs instead of working toward long-term fulfillment. But the easy path is rarely the most rewarding one. True happiness requires discipline and commitment. It means making choices that align with our values, even when they require sacrifice. It means prioritizing inner peace over external approval, self-growth over comfort, and long-term well-being over instant gratification. There will always be moments when the temptation of short-term pleasure is strong. The world constantly offers quick escapes. Shopping to numb emotions, scrolling through social media for validation, indulging in habits that provide temporary comfort but no real fulfillment. But the more we chase these fleeting moments, the further we drift from true happiness. Choosing lasting joy means recognizing when we are seeking distractions instead of solutions, when we are settling for momentary pleasure instead of long-term fulfillment. It is about making conscious decisions, understanding that true happiness is not something we find outside of ourselves, but something we cultivate from within. The journey to lasting joy is not about denying ourselves pleasure. It is about understanding the difference between what brings temporary happiness and what brings deep fulfillment. It is about prioritizing self-awareness, practicing gratitude, and living with purpose. It is about realizing that happiness is not a destination, but a way of living, one that requires mindfulness, intention, and a willingness to embrace what truly matters. When we choose lasting joy, we free ourselves from the endless cycle of chasing what fades and begin to build a life filled with meaning, contentment, and true happiness. So today, I ask you, are you still eating the lies, or are you ready to taste the truth? Because happiness is not a product to be purchased. It is a life to be lived. Choose it, create it, and most of all, believe that you are worthy of it. Not tomorrow, not someday, but today.